Hey everybody, hey, we are here in the beautiful city of Columbia, South Carolina. It is the capital, if you didn't know that. And with our new friends at Sacred Space, Aaron and Bobby Howley. And so fun. This is cool. We don't always get the chance to do an interview with the hosts of a space. But we're super pumped to be able to do that with you today. So we're going to ask a couple questions. But let me just tell you, this is a beautiful house that they have done such an amazing job at. Really, not only does it look great and it's comfortable and it feels wonderful, but I'm so impressed with the way you repurposed stuff in this house. So cool. I mean, honestly, you can't maybe not see it. This table, the table up there, they literally sanded down the old cabinets in the house, refinished them into beautiful furniture, and it's just awesome. So really creative, really fun. And they have three amazing boys, teenage boys, and they are part of the household at this retreat space. And who knows, they may come flying in or out or something. It might be in the middle of the video.
There's a good chance.
Yeah. But these guys do such a wonderful job at really dialing into all leaders, Christian leaders, but they're really providing care and support, in particular for international missionaries, those that are usually come from or based out of the United States and Canada and that are serving internationally overseas. And just so happens, for those that know our story, when you find out more about the Howleys, you'll find out that they served in Uganda and are many of the places where Jennifer I've served over the last 20 years.
That's been so fun.
Yeah, really fun to share stories. And just for the record, I asked the important question about if they're really legit workers in Uganda, and I asked Aaron where the best milkshake was in Uganda, and he got it. He got it in Jinja at the Keep. The Keep. So, oh man, so good. But anyway, it's just really it's been so fun, and there'll be a little B-roll in here just showing you the beautiful, guest rooms that they've designed, and it's in a really neat spot to where it's separate from the main part of the rest of the house, and it was very quiet. I was able to get up this morning and just go into, there's two rooms back there and a restroom, and I was able to just read for a couple hours and pray. It was just so nice to have that space.
Cozy and welcoming. It's very welcoming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed, totally. So anyway, we just want to say it's been wonderful to be with you guys, and we want to remind everybody remember, like all these videos, not only like them and subscribe to the channel, but really pass them on, share them. That's the most important thing. If you're getting this on social media or through one of our emails, pass it on to a pastor, a missionary, a mission agency that really needs the support, especially the individual that needs that kind of debriefing in their life. They need restoration. They need a place just to rest. They need a safe place. And speaking of safe place, although you guys are part of Life Impact Ministries, and they're missionaries with Life Impact, they have what's called an oasis. That's what they call Life Impact. But I love what you guys called yours, and you called it Sacred Space. And I like that. So one of you guys share just a little bit, why Sacred Space? Where does that name come from, and what's that mean to you?
Sure. Sacred Space is a borrowed term from extended family of ours that were walking through a very serious time of cancer with one of their family members, and it was the wife and the kids, and they were making the most out of the time they had left with their husband and father, and they used the phrase, "We know this is just a sacred time with him." And so as we have a vision for walking with global workers from around the world, that's how we feel, is we have this opportunity, this sacred space to walk alongside people in very difficult circumstances. And that's a privilege, and it's where God usually shows up in some really incredible ways. And we're looking for those things. So sacred space is just kind of how we see how we walk with people lived out.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's really good. And I've used the term many times in a season of life, or this time is a sacred space, but I loved the fact that you use it as a noun of the location of what you're offering, and it's this place. And you just alluded there, Aaron, a little bit about this idea of bringing people that have been through challenge, or that are facing circumstances where they really need a safe, sacred space. So not only sacred in the sense like set apart for God's purposes and the purposes of healing and restoration, but also a safe place where they can have a discussion. They can talk to someone that's not their employer or their employee, right? And they can process through some things that they just don't feel comfortable able to do in the field. And that is so neat. And I can tell you from experience, Jennifer, I can allude, you need that. You have to have that. Without that, we would be the last 31 years of ministry, we'd be in trouble. And there's been times where we were in trouble. We were just talking about that. We have been in a rough spot. We had to go get therapy. We had to get, I mean, it was like, man, we were depression because we didn't have that space. And man, we don't want to live there and aren't now. And we're just so grateful. So there's this industry, if you will. It's a segment, a niche of Christian ministry called many different things like member care, pastoral care, leader care, care. Obviously we care, but we care. But a lot of people that it's new to them. They could just be someone in a local church in Middle America, and they know that they'd like to love and care for their pastor or their missionary they're supporting or whatever. And they don't know exactly what that means. As a matter of fact, we're finding a lot of people don't even know what member care or pastor. They don't even know that a place like an Oasis would exist.
Right.
So share with us. Why don't you guys share with us just a little bit about what that is? When you say member care or any of those cares, what do you mean by that?
Within large organizations, member care might just be somebody who's designated to have conversations with people about stuff that's happening. We are independent member care, which means we serve people in any organization or church or ministry or whatever. And for us, that can look different depending on the needs of the person. Aaron's a licensed counselor, so some people actually come for counseling, although his approach is very pastoral, not clinical. We do coaching. I'm a life coach. I'm also an education consultant, so sometimes care just looks like, how do I help a mom living overseas figure out how to homeschool her kids because she's in culture shock and her kids are sick and now she has to homeschool there. So that can be a very caring relationship. Sometimes that's debriefing, which is the hardest thing for people to understand because debriefing is really a set conversation to unpack and process a period of time of service or a critical incident. And so we sit down to specifically go through what has happened and evaluate those things emotionally and spiritually, and then to make plans. How does this person need to go forward and to really support them in those long-term choices? So counseling, coaching, debriefing, those are things that we consider the care package. And different people need different ones at different times, and so we just take it as it comes.
Yeah, that's good.
And talking about kids, you brought up kids, you have a unique situation here having 3 boys.
Yes, we do.
And for some, they might hear that and go, how in the world do you do that? And how is it with the kids? And talk about, I've really enjoyed getting to know your kids, and they're fun to interact with.
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about the dynamics of bringing the kids along in this journey you're on.
Well, we've been told several times, Aaron and Bobby, you're really nice, but really we come for the kids.
People have actually said we just come to see your boys.
We've had that for years in our life. Why did you come to the church? Well, the Garrick's kids.
And in the past, we ran a guest house, so our kids like to have people around, and so they're not all extroverts, but at the same time, they love to hear what's going on and where people work and where they live and what they're doing for God. And so it's fun to have our kids around for meal times and things like that. They do go to school sometimes, so we have uninterrupted time with guests during school. And then our kids actually know, because we have so many sessions online and in person, okay, we're having a session and we need an hour and a half, and you can stay in your very large bedroom, right?
You've seen their cave at the end of the house. They've got their area.
And they understand that what we do is confidential.
Yes.
And so we can have those conversations even with our kids are in the house because of some, I would say, good boundaries we have and things that they respect about what we do.
I would also say, which I don't think we've even talked with you guys about this, but it's relevant. When we came out of living in Uganda for several years, that was really difficult
Mhm.
for our boys
Yeah.
because they loved our life there.
Mhm.
And so we had a family debrief, and they really realized how that helped them
Yeah.
process and move on and heal. And so sometimes we just say to them, or we just remind them, you know, we're doing for other people what
Mhm.
so and so did for you. And then, I mean, they just get it right away. And
Mhm.
because they value that
Yeah.
and they believe in that importance, they know,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, we got to do this for people.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
they're dialed into that. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that is really precious to see.
That's very
Yeah,
unique.
that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is
Thank
Yeah.
you for
very
sharing that. Good question and
Yeah.
really great response, because as we wrap up this video, this is what I want people to get, is that we're serving from a place of practical experience, not because of
Yeah.
all the things we've done well,
Right.
but because we too have been on the front lines,
Been there.
and we
Yeah.
get it, and we can relate in a way that maybe others can't.
Yes.
But it's very real and transparent. And shout out to Kari Patterson, who's got a book, Sacred Mundane. So good
Yeah.
job, Kari.
Oh.
Kari, sorry. Kari's book, that title is very important. I was thinking of it, this Sacred Mundane. There's some things we think are, oh, just normal cooking, and which, by the way, cookies, I can smell them still. They're in the air. She made monster cookies today,
Yeah.
and I did taste one already. They are amazing. And so, anyway, so you might get some good cookies if you're at this space too.
I love
but
to bake.
yeah, oh, it's awesome. But there's the sacredness even in that, right? We're reading
Yes.
Brother Andrew right now, who's washing dishes. You know,
Oh.
sacred. You know, space.
Yeah.
Kids. You know, life. That's all sacred. And when we're leaving a retreat space, we're going back into a place where there's kids or grandkids, and you know, and all of that stuff. And so it's really important for us to remember that this sacred space, okay, has been created for us to live out the gospel
Yes.
within the sacred mundane,
Yes.
within the everyday things of life, because that's what it's like when we get back to the front lines and we're in the field. So
Yeah.
so I just want to encourage people to be thinking about this beautiful place, again, in Columbia, South Carolina. And it is right down the road from a beautiful river and a gorgeous park. I mean, I don't know how many miles wide that park is, but I ran 4 miles there and it was unending. I could have went for a lot
Keeps
longer.
going.
Other than the cardiac arrest, I could have went for a lot longer. But it's beautiful on the river, and just a lovely space, but also lovely people. And you will be blessed by being a part of this space here. So think about sacred space, an oasis with life impact, and pass this on to friends. And I hope that you and hundreds more will be able to come and experience refreshment and renewal here in Columbia. So until we see you again via email or video or anything like that, just know that you're loved, and we will see you on the next video.